So, I don't get this. And I want to really get it, but I don't get it. And I just struggle with wanting to get it, and
You can't get it with your mind. You cannot get it via thought. You cannot get it.
So, when you said that, that I know that my mind is way too much in there, in the me stuff. But when you said that we get to play from the consciousness, I don't get that at all. Because I feel like consciousness is like I'm in la la land. Like it's not, it doesn't work in my life, in this world.
Consciousness, it does not work
Yeah,
in your life.
I feel like I have to be in there and control and
When you say I, which I? What do you mean by I?
I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm crying.
They're right on the table too.
Thank you. So the I that I'm talking about is the consciousness I, that I would prefer to be in that state, but I can't stay there because I feel like if I stay there, nothing will work in my life. And so I'm in this new job that I like, and I'm marketing, and yesterday I was caught up with, I guess, some worry, like it was my first week, and I was going to these places to get referrals in the healthcare profession, and so I got caught up, and so I started talking to myself, and I said, what you have told me is let go of the outcome. So I was practicing that, and I just stayed, trying to have some positive thoughts about what I was doing, and I know that was probably me, not the I talking. And then I said, I'm just going to let go. And so I drove to this one hospital, and something told me don't go there for, networking. So I went to this other hospital in Mount Vernon, which was kind of a far out way. And I think I was in the I consciousness. I think I was thinking about it. I was trying to get there, and a miracle happened. To get in front of a case manager in the hospitals, you have to wait for like 6 months to get a luncheon with them, and I went straight to them. Like it was like I was flown there easily. And we built rapport, and I got a referral in the hospital at that moment, which is unheard of. And I keep thinking that the me did that. Because when I try to go to that I consciousness, I just feel like I'm in this la la land, like. So when you said that, when you're in the you just said it now. When you're in the consciousness, that's where we create the play, right? Is that what you said?
Something like that.
Yeah. So that's where I would like to go, but it just seems like going there is so not workable in this life.
Yeah. Oh. Just clarify a little bit here. So this me impression is maintained via our belief. Let me explain what I mean. So, right now, for example, just presence, just being relaxed, right? There isn't a thought that I am Mary. The thought may arise, but before the thought arises, I am such and such a person and I need to do so and so. Before the thought arises, you are. When you wake up in the morning, before the thought arises, gee, I need to hurry up, have breakfast and rush to work. Before the first thought arises, you are. Are you not? And then the thought arises, I, meaning I, Mary, I, this person, need to do this. We remember, we recall, there is a download of the room, the house. I live in Annandale. There is a download of that. Because before Annandale shows up, I am. Yes? And then there is a download of, oh, I, this person, house, Annandale, Little River Turnpike, and the hospital, it's 8 o'clock, all of that, before all of that arises, I am. And then all that stuff downloads into the I am. Downloads to me, I. When I say I am, means I. Now I'm Magdi. I perceive I live here. All of that, it's not I'm sitting around and thinking about it, but it's in deep sleep, and all of that is there. And when the daylight starts to arise, and we wake up, all of that gets downloaded quickly. The bed, the room, the coffee, where the coffee urn is, etc. My appointments, oh, it's Tuesday. In deep sleep, there was no Tuesday. And a second before Tuesday downloaded, there was no Tuesday. But I am. Although there was no Tuesday, although there was no home, although there was no Annandale, although there was no thought of coffee, although there was no thought of hospital, although there was no thought of I, Mary, of me, Mary, I am. So consciousness, before even these words arise and are heard, is consciousness is. You can't see it as with your senses. You cannot hear it. You cannot get a fantastic hearing aid and hear, oh, I'm hearing consciousness. So there is no way. You cannot touch it. You cannot take a fantastic drug and then you're touching consciousness. Although some people believe that they are with some hallucinogenics, they're not. They're still in the mind. They're experiencing an experience, because you cannot experience consciousness, but you know consciousness as yourself. You know, right now when I say, before this room appears, I am. Before even the thought about your mother or the hospital or your work or whatever appears. I am. You know that. You don't need to go ask anybody, but you know that. That's what that is consciousness. Consciousness knows it is conscious, knows itself. Now, what you are trying to do is you are trying to make Mary, or you're trying to have Mary know consciousness and experience consciousness and be as consciousness. Mary appears to you. Before you know you're Mary, when you wake up in the morning, there is no Mary, and then Mary appears to you. It appears to you. We're so habituated to it that we don't even notice that it's appearing to us. But the fact is, it is appearing to us. And it appears to us as memory. Because Mary is learned. You've learned Mary. Before you learned Mary, you were pure consciousness. You know, suckling at your mama's breast and crawling. And at some point, over repeated impressions, the Mary impression started to get established and continued to get established and established and established and established and established and established. And at some point, it sort of settled. Oh, I am Mary. And then you moved on to the next phase. Oh, Mary has to do this and do that. And there was no, the first phase was you embraced that you are Mary. And the next phase, which you're still living right now, is what is Mary going to do to take care of Mary? See? And that's what we're all living in a way. But this is what we refer to as the illusion, the ignorance, the belief structure that consciousness is actually Mary or Magdi or Joe or John or whatever. Yeah. Now, this Mary was learned. And now, as you wake up in the morning or throughout your day, Mary appears to you as a very subtle, below the radar belief. When you sense a toothache, there are two things that occur. First and foremost, and it's always so, consciousness perceives the toothache. As a sensation. And then the mind comes on board, says, I, Mary, I, Magdi, I, Joe, I have a toothache. I, Joe, is having a toothache.
And then the mind says, and all my teeth are going to fall out.
Yes. Right. Then it goes, oh my goodness, what's going to happen to me? The emotions. But what I'm trying to sort of peel for you is that whatever appears to you first is not you. You could look, you could perceive a toothache, you could perceive a tree, you could perceive a Mary. But you're not the oak tree, you're not the Mary, you're not the fault. Whatever appears to you is not what you are. You're beyond what appears to you. Whatever dreams appear to you at night, you are not the pink flying elephant. And the proof is that when you wake up in the morning, you know you're not a pink flying elephant. If you are swimming, when you wake up in the morning, your bed is dry, and you're dry, and there is no swimsuit. You're in jammies. Yes? So whatever appears to you is not you. Secondly, whatever appears to you does not know you. An oak tree does not know you. A thought does not know you. A bodily sensation does not know you. Actually, a thought does not know another thought. Or a thought does not know an oak tree, nor does it know a bodily sensation. So what is known is not knowing. What is known cannot know that which knows it. You follow? What you're trying to do is you're trying to make Mary, which is known, which appears to you, know consciousness.
Yeah.
You're trying to make what is perceived. You're trying to make, it's like trying to make the oak tree know that which perceives it. So relax that tendency around this Mary that's appearing to you to attain anything. Attainment is not, meaning you say, I want to know consciousness, I want to live as consciousness, I want to be as consciousness. Mary cannot do that. The oak tree cannot do that.
Because there is no effort involved. There is no effort.
There is no effort involved. So, since Mary cannot live as consciousness, since the oak tree cannot live as consciousness, since a thought cannot live as consciousness, the question is, what is Magdi talking about? What is it that can? I mean, so often in satsang, teachers say, live as consciousness. What are they talking about? I, Magdi, cannot live as consciousness. The oak tree cannot live as consciousness. I, as Magdi, appears as an appearance, as bodily sensation, thoughts, memories. Right? So what is it that can live as consciousness? Consciousness. I'm speaking to consciousness. I am never speaking to Mary. I'm never speaking to a pink flying elephant. Never. I love you all as pink flying elephants. And I recognize you as pink flying elephants. Because I recognize this body-mind as pink flying elephant as well. But I'm never speaking to pink flying elephants. It's consciousness speaking to consciousness. So it's an invitation for consciousness.
To what?
It's an invitation from consciousness to consciousness. To, hey, stop fooling around. Stop fooling around. Why not? Consciousness can, in its complete freedom, choose to identify as me, this Magdi, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? Oh God, my hair, my belly, oh, my shoulder, oh, it's going to be my money, oh my God, my house, my children. It can choose to play that. And also, consciousness chooses to recognize, that's an unhappy game. I can't stop it. And so I stop it. So, live as consciousness simply means stop believing and living as a woman, as a character that's born, as a pink flying elephant that's, my God, is going to hit a tree. It's flying right into the mountain. I hope it swerves to the right before it's too late. Stop living as that. And in the stopping, presence is revealed to you and sweetens the dream magically.
Yeah, but can presence be creative?
Absolutely, it's completely creative.
And can presence be the doer?
It's the only doer. What other doer is there?
Because that's where I don't see presence like that. Like, maybe I'm thinking of it as
Personal,
some
as
kind
a
of
personal.
religion or something in my old memory of, something like that. But I don't equate. I guess that's where I get really, caught up in the struggle of presence. Is what my perception of presence is, because I was that presence that led me to that miracle yesterday? Or
Presence meaning consciousness.
yeah,
One of the aspects of consciousness is presence,
yeah,
meaning I am. It's just the I am. That's presence. And awareness. I'm aware. And self-awareness. I'm aware that I'm aware. So presence meaning consciousness, one of the aspects of consciousness, is it's via consciousness that right now you are hearing these words. Because without consciousness, what would be these words? It is via consciousness that you're perceiving this perception. Because without consciousness, what would be this perception? So consciousness is the reality of thoughts, of perceptions, of bodily sensations. So consciousness is the reality of thoughts. Because without consciousness, what would the thought be? Right? Consciousness does not depend on a thought. Because 1 second it chooses to think about, I love my mother. The next moment it chooses to think, oh my God, I hope I get this job. A moment after that it may think, gee, I should have filled my gas tank with gas today. It's completely free of the thoughts. But every thought is dependent on consciousness. Thought A, thought B, whatever thought you pick and choose cannot be without beingness of consciousness. So beingness, reality, truth, does not belong to the thought. It belongs to the consciousness that knows it. The consciousness that right now hears these words. These words, the reality, the impression of reality of these words, belongs to the consciousness that perceives these words. That does not come and go. The words come and go. Because the words that I said 10 minutes ago, where are they? The perceptions come and go. The perception of your house right now that you were seeing this morning, where is it now? But consciousness does not come and go.
Like experience, I'm sorry.
So the impermanent depends on the permanent, relies on the permanent. See? And your actions, you're choosing to go to this direction or that direction. Follow your thoughts. You have to think of, oh gee, I really don't want to go to this hospital. I want to go to that hospital. The thought arose to you. The feeling and the thought arose to you. Right? You said, I want to go there. Your action, whatever you do, the choices that you make, follow your thoughts. Because if you're thinking of nothing, you'll do nothing. You have to think, let me drink some water. Drink some water. The thought has to arise. And the action comes with the thought. Now, thoughts, the reality of thought is consciousness. Because the thought is nothing without consciousness. So your action that follows the thought follows consciousness.
So if I just pay attention to consciousness,
All is well.
all is well.
Absolutely.
Then the thought, the action,
All flows.
everything flows.
All the rivers and the streams flow from the source, from the spring, the mountain spring.
See, and I think yesterday and all the time, this is what I do. I get in my mind, and like you said, the me tries to figure out the consciousness, and I get so analytical with what is consciousness and what is me and how do I get there, and just trip myself up.
Yeah. So with the mind says, where is consciousness? And goes, it looks where is consciousness? Oh, maybe it's behind this tree. No, maybe it's if I repeat Om Mani Padme Hum. No, maybe it looks that's how the mind looks for consciousness. You see, that's how the mind looks for consciousness. But the mind is lit. Is lit by consciousness. It's lit. You don't see. The mind cannot see consciousness. It sees a tree, perceives a thought, perceives a rug. So the only way to know consciousness is for the mind to turn to consciousness. Yeah. The way the mind turns to consciousness is by being still. The turning is actually not a movement, not an action. It's a non-action.